Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So it is Wednesday. The week started off with a big gap up on Monday for the French elections. And at that point, I think a lot of traders were pretty neutral. So hopefully you had the time to accumulate some longs in the spiders, the banks, some tech, whatever it was. If you did so, you got paid on Tuesday. You actually probably could even accumulate a little bit on Tuesday, whatever it was. And then today, day 3, which is also part of the day count rule, is usually a good time to sell. If you look at my Twitter sphere on Red Dog T3, you'll see right before 12 o'clock even, I said, you know what, just be careful that today could turn into a Red Dog reversal. What's a Red Dog reversal? It's after a multiple day move. You squeeze the excess shorts through a prior high, make some people chase, come back below it. If you're long, it's a great way to sell into that fury. And then if you're looking for a short, not a bad place to short at that pivot versus the high of the day, make some money intraday, and then maybe even make a little bit more if you carry a third over. Not saying it's the end of the world, it's a double top in the market, we're going to crash, but if you're a day trader or you actively maneuver the market and you look for swings and you were long from Tuesday, why not take a little bit off into that, and why not maybe even make some cash flow on the short side if you're holding positions. Anyway, you look at the chart of the S&P cash. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is this pennant, which we'll show you very closely. Here was your big gap up after the French elections. And I talked about, I don't think that the gap from Monday gets filled, but potentially, we could be testing at least this gap here. So with that being said, what's a Red Dog reversal? Red Dog reversal is when you push above a prior high, okay, which was 23.92, put a high in at 23.98. So what happens here is everyone's like, oh my goodness, I got to be a buyer. I missed the beginning of the week. It's going to break through all-time highs like the small caps, like the tech, whatever. Then all of a sudden, hits there, sellers come in, comes back below a prior pivot. All these people will say, oh my God, I can't believe I might have just chased the top here, which it might not be, after coming all the way from here last week. So it creates a little bit of a sell-off, and then also gives you a way to, maneuver. So hopefully this kind of tail gives us a little down open, and then we'll see how the market handles yesterday's low of 23.81 and maybe fill this gap. And it'd be nice to, do a little packing and filling in here. But at this point, you really, you can't predict what's next. All you got to do is trade the levels. And this was your level here. Broke above, came back below. If you were long from accumulating it on Monday, why not sell some and then see what's next here. We also said about it could be cute because they could sell the tax reform news, which they tried to. But anyway, IWM, looks stronger. That's why I don't think that all of a sudden this is going to be, a huge debacle. We talked about how if it could hold 140.08, maybe it trades above this to continuate, or continuation. At this point, held in there pretty well, better than the S&P. But for now, we'll see if this continues, goes sideways. If this goes sideways and they try and sell the S&P, it'll give you some clues that the S&P probably with maybe Thursday's earnings, etc., maybe then it goes. But this also, too, look at how this kissed the highs, wasn't ready. So don't be all in short just in case, it's a little bit of a misdirection move, okay? It's not giving you like yesterday's signal. Everyone's like, oh, look at the topping tail at the highs. I'm like, yeah, but look where it came from. Maybe it needed a day. So perhaps the spiders, need a day, okay? I did go out short the spiders, but I also have, some little longs on still, okay? This was, your one gap, moving averages are catching up, and now we'll see what's here. It could open up tomorrow and trap anybody short, but the good book usually says you get a little bit more downside, and that would be a better trade so you can maybe cover your spiders short and then buy back strong stocks that have been a little overbought. The Qs, what'd you do? Not much, it's allowed to take a day off, made a new all-time high on Monday. Here's Tuesday, tiny bit of a Red Dog reversal here too. Hopefully it leads to some kind of, rest, and maybe just tomorrow while we wait for the big earnings Thursday for these moving averages to catch up. Nobody wants to feel like they're chasing. Yesterday I talked about the Red Dog reversal in oil and the XLE just for a trade. I was along the spiders and the banks on, in my size for Tuesday into Wednesday, and then on Wednesday I'm like, what could happen? What could play catch up? I'm like, maybe the oil and the XLE, and I tried to keep everyone updated. The XLE, I sold today. Why did I sell it today? Because, I figured it could get into the 21-day and it might sell off. So anyway, here was one of your lows. This wasn't really a Red Dog reversal. It was just strong. And then, in my note, I said if it can get above 68.93, could probably see, 69.44. I actually went a little bit higher than that into the moving averages. So that was my target. And I was just happy that I was able to do that on the inventory number. Okay, you had a chance here. Okay, if you look early in the morning on how do you do it, okay, well, here it opened down. Okay, I was using this support to trade against. Didn't get below it. Right here you had your add, pushed above the prior high, gave you a move, and right there you should have at least taken some off, if not more, or taking it all if that was your trade. For oil, I didn't take the USO, I took the UWT. So the way I strategically do it to help you think next time, okay, you had a reversal, you take a third home, it was open down, I bought a little bit down. So if you look at the UWT, okay, the reason why I bought it yesterday, let's go first into the daily, was because you had a red dog reversal on the downside, okay, after a big move down from 24. I said, hey, look at this little red dog reversal here. Let me buy some. Okay, so this is your pivot to buy it. 1738, it closed well. So I went home long it, and all of a sudden it was down 70 cents today. I said, hey, let me buy a little bit versus the level, and then maybe the inventories will help. So if you look here, okay, you go to the 5-minute chart, and you'll see here is the morning. Okay, thank goodness it didn't break, so I was able to buy more, okay, which I did. And I've actually bought a pre-market, not a whole lot, and then, on the inventories number 1030, it started to go green. I added, through these 18s, and then into this, it got back to comfortable. I was like, now I actually made money because why? I went home long, I added, and so let me get comfortable. I went back to pretty much a tier 1. I said, you know what, if it's any good, it shouldn't get below here. Broke below there, got stopped out. I'm not saying it's game over for this, but that was the trade because it's a broken sector. I don't trust oil, so I figured it was worth a day-and-a-half trade, and instead of closing higher and opening higher, which would have been easier, you were able to make a little bit more money because it held here, held the low, and gave you a push, and then obviously end of the day kind of failed. Still not below this, so if you're in some, that's fine. Okay, for me, I just don't like the sector, so I'm out of both. And then you go to some names. Apple was a little weaker today, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I would actually love it down open to scoop some of these things. Okay, I'd love to see Apple, hold this 8-day and 21-day. Big move from here, was weaker all day. They didn't really talk about reparation as much on the tax thing. Closed below a prior low, so, gives you a reason to maybe be out of it for a day, and then tomorrow we'll see if there's a way to buy it. Facebook, I actually made some money short today. Talked about in my note that it was a little extended. Not a whole lot of money, but here was when it broke above the prior high. Here is when I woke up. So into this move, I was like, why don't we, short a little? When did I short it? I shorted it in the morning because it opened up. You had a point of reference, went back below 147.15, so you had your stop area, and it went red. So I'll quickly give you the tactical move on that. Obviously it's not the big money, but it was, the fast money, so to speak. So anyway, here was where it opened up. Went as high as 147.50, shorted some, where did I shorted somewhere over this high, and then which was the prior high, or somewhere around there. Shorted a little bit just for feel, added, then all of a sudden went red, went back into this area, and I just said, you know what, that's all I wanted. I just wanted a day trade where it's up 6-7 days, shorted versus there, gets below a prior high, add to it, cover some, and then move away from it because more money's made on being long Facebook. I will say I got hurt in ACIA. I thought maybe second, third tier names could rally. Broken names will be in there, and I got beat up. It was down $1. Didn't have follow through, and thank goodness I don't put my tail between my legs. I sell it, okay, when I don't think it's going to work. So when did I sell it? I think I sold it even before it broke here, because I was playing for a little follow through to the 50-day. Didn't happen. So it was down like $1.30 in the first 15 minutes. And I said, I'll give it to the morning low, and then I'll get out. So if you look at the 5-minute chart, so you can see how I managed to trade, because you're going to be wrong, okay, a lot. So here was, let's see, where was the 5? Let's go to the 5-minute. That's the 5-minute. So, here was, it opened, came right in. Where's an easier look? 'Cause, let's see, let's go 1 minute. I don't think you can do 1 minute. So somewhere around right here, I think I got out. Okay, a little bit before this broke. Okay, it opened, it broke 53 right there. I was like, it shouldn't have broken 53 if it's going to be any good. And then somewhere within here, I got out of it. And the VTF saw me get out of it. I even tweeted that I got out of it, and I apologized. Let's see, because some people say I only post my winners, which is baloney, okay? You go to my Twitter sphere. I said I was long it, which I was, had multiple positions, okay? And then what happened here? Okay, my Twitter sphere, okay, where was it? ACIA, okay, right here. Let's go back. I'm sorry, because you guys always want to call everything accountable, which I try and do. If you go to the Twitter sphere, you go to, where is it? Okay. Here we go, right here. It was at 10:01. I said, stopped out of ACIA, serves me right for going after a laggard, broken name. Okay, that said, I bought it yesterday, was up, didn't work, got out. Lost money, could have lost a hell of a lot more. If I would have just said, oh, I don't want to say that I was wrong because, I don't want people to be upset with me. No, if you're wrong, you get stopped out and you move on. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. So anyway, that was ACIA. And then I also posted, let's Win today. Win, had earnings. Just so you know, the Redler report, I post 10, 11 ideas that I like. Some people buy them all based on their account and just buy them, and then when they reach my objective, they get out. Some people wait for them to turn on if they're active trades, or they wait for me to cover it in my note. Everyone trades it differently. So today, a lot of people are high-fiving. Why? Because Win, that I talked about to start the year, okay, to buy options or buy the stock at 82 or whatever it was, okay, right around here, wound up breaking above this and was at 125, and that was the target, and it filled the gap. We talked about it many times. Yes, it had a little false moves a few times here, but if you played it, in the beginning of the year, you just, got fulfilled on more than you bargained for. If you bought the options, I think there were 4. Now they're like 20, what is it, like 25? So anyway, good spot. So I also posted the language from the actual report. We snagged the page where you could see the chart. You could see all the different ways I said you could play it. So it's there. So that's that. Anyway, let's move on to, what time is it? I got to get going. 4:20. Uh-oh. So for today, you had a little bit of a sell the news. Doesn't mean the rally's done. Doesn't mean you could be balls to the wall short. It means maybe you reduced into that topping tail, and maybe you're short indice as a hedge if you're long some other names. I am long some little guys, and I hate being long little bios, but I do have a few reasons why. Why am I long INSEE? I've been following it for a while. Nice wide range bar, engulfed the moving averages. There's some volume, so I'm long a little INSEE. It's a little biotech. I'm sorry, I don't like to be in these, but a lot of guys are tracking them, so me too. AUPH had a big move, had good news, wasn't ready to go. Today, perked up. Sometimes a day 1 engulfing bar leads to a day 2, so I have that. And then I have Snap, which is, why would I have Snap on? Because it did cross above the 8 and 21 day. It was stronger the entire, basically during the entire down move in the afternoon. So I think maybe someone's going to upgrade it. Who knows? Someone knows something. It did get above this level that I talked about, so I'm in some. So there are some things that I'm in, and I'm definitely in a lot of options, and I've been trading around them. But with the indices wise, that was my focus to start the week. Get in the indices, get in the banks. Okay, play for a nice 3-day move or so. If the gaps hold, and then look for a signal to get and reduce, and then figure out what's next, and that's what happens. So tomorrow's another day. It's Thursday. A lot of earnings after the close. We'll see what the futures are doing in the morning, and I'll be involved then. Have a good night.